Oh, Steve and Larson! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for yourselves and feel the power. Yes. And all you people out there, you're watching Going In Raw with Steve and Larson.
Hey, friendos, the Enforcer here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw, the only podcast you need to be listening to, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson, available at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, and all of your podcasting catchers out there. Larson, I know you're not used to me sitting here, but it was Lacey's last day at the post office for Steve.
That's true.
Decided to have the evening off. He called me up, said, "Can I fill in?" And I did. And holy hell, did we have a Smackdown.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Go for it.
Would you rather, now that you sat in for a Raw before, and now that you sat in for a few Smackdowns,
yeah,
if tonight's Smackdown was indicative of the overall quality of the show going forward,
yeah,
and you take the time factor out, because obviously Raw is a more of a black hole because it's 3 hours long.
Gotcha. Yeah,
there's a lot of caveats to this question, I know.
Yeah, I got you.
What would you rather go with?
I will say this. I will take a Smackdown, and just because of this, I don't have to work the next day and think about the evening that I used on a Monday where I'm already feeling so bad having to watch wrestling and then review it afterwards, and then know I still have 4 days of work after that. I will gladly take this and know I don't have to do anything other than my own personal business for myself after I get done with this. I do
from 2 hours of Smackdown.
And I know that after this, then there's an Unsolved Mysteries. Then usually there's going to be a pay-per-view of some kind. Not this week. You will be having your double feature.
Well,
possibly.
that's in doubt. I'm happy you brought that up. My computer's on the fritz.
Yeah.
This laptop I'm using here for this show is not streaming. Steve was kind enough to step away from what he's doing to help us with the streaming aspect of things here on Twitch, because my primary laptop ain't working. It's going to the shop tomorrow. Don't know when I'm getting it back. So the odds of the stream going down on Sunday are probably 2% botch at this juncture. My apologies for having to postpone. Certainly didn't want that to happen. I didn't want to dump more fluids on my laptop this time, seemingly causing it to break. But I guess it was a matter of time. Seemingly there was some sort of gravitational pull between fluids and my laptop. That's how I have to look at it, because that way it's out of my hands.
Right. That your laptop is such a lush. It's always just getting stuff spilled on it, and this is the one time where I decided to take a very long nap. Hopefully, so someone could put some smelling salts underneath it and get it going again. Something like that. But yeah, sorry everybody that possibly you're not going to get to see the old Larson here sitting here struggle through 2 movies. So, because
it doesn't happen, probably won't happen this week. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I'm hoping
exactly
that if they could turn around the laptop quick enough, I'll try to do it the weekend following, which I think that Sunday is Easter Sunday. And you'll get a real doozy of a Larson, because we're going to the in-laws for brunch, and then I make the 2-hour drive back here,
and then sit through 2 bad movies.
And you've seen Tired Enforcer. You think tired? You've seen really tired Larson before. You ain't seen nothing yet. Anyways,
could you imagine everybody? You know what, Larson? Let's really sell this. If he has to do it next week on this Sunday, you're going to see a cranky, tired, put off Larson sit through 2 movies he's not very excited to sit through, and you'll be able to watch that same movie if you have Amazon Prime as him. Join that experience, a once in a lifetime. There will be no VOD of this, So if it happens,
one and done.
once in a lifetime. This is like Rock and Cena, because they never did that a second time, right?
I mean, they advertise it as once in a lifetime, so
of course,
you can't have false advertising. That's illegal.
Of course not. That's illegal. You have to get the Department of Weights and Measures on the horn. All right,
there you go, or something like that. Yeah, there's ramifications if you false advertise. That's fraud.
That's
false
fraud.
advertising.
Yeah,
1 to 2.
One of those. He's already confusing. It's not even a Sunday.
Not even there, man. It's been a long day. And now you have to watch 4 hours of movies. So let's get to. I did have to watch 2 hours of SmackDown.
2 hours of SmackDown. Yes.
So it was bookended with stuff that seemed to matter. This
Yes.
Daniel Bryan, Edge, Roman Reigns business, which we all kind of felt was going a certain way based on what happened at Fastlane. Turns out, even though Daniel Bryan posited some alternative solutions to the problems posed at Fastlane, it went the way we all expected. It's going to be a triple threat bout at Mania for the Universal title between Roman, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. It seemed like Edge, whatever heel turn he was kind of teasing at Fastlane, came to full fruition tonight. He was blasting everybody with chairs. Pat Buck, Jamie Noble, Daniel Bryan, just about anybody in his way. He was setting up Daniel Bryan for a concerto. That's not something a face does.
No, not at all. And just his mannerisms about it, saying, even going to the other uber heel and saying, this guy's trying to take our spotlight, trying to take trying to shoehorn in on what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
I will say this, that was the only through line for the whole show that I honestly really cared about. But since it was a foregone conclusion what was going to happen, this is my personal opinion, everybody. And you can think of it however you thought of it. This SmackDown just felt like it was just, we have one story that we need to tell. Stretch it, give me a ton of recaps, give me a bunch of matches that don't really move anything along the way, and then give me the two ends of the bread. Give me both ends of the loaf, and that's it. What's in the middle, it doesn't matter.
You gotta put some
really
mayonnaise in there, and then just be content with that.
It's
like a mayonnaise sandwich.
What a terrible sandwich.
I used to eat those a lot as a kid. I don't know what that means, but that was my culinary delight for 6-year-old Larson.
Here, since she wants to show everybody, there she is. There's
Hello, buddy.
Hi,
Hello, buddy.
Okay, now go on about your business, buddy. All right.
So what we get the details of the Daniel Bryan Edge stuff, but in short, well, we'll get in the details later. We could other things of consequence of SmackDown. Yeah. There wasn't a ton. Apollo Crews got the pin on Big E in a 6-man tag match. They announced for sure that match has happened at WrestleMania.
Yep.
We got a rematch for some reason between Nakamura and Seth Rollins from Fastlane, even though the bit that really, 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 really mattered was what happened backstage.
It was the backstage one, yeah. It
could have just went with the backstage bit. That was kind of it.
The other point, I'm sorry. The other one was that we got KO Sammy going to be fighting at WrestleMania as well. That was the other one. And then also the positioning of now, even though we kind of knew what was going to happen, the true positioning of Sasha as the heel in this feud with Bianca Belair. That's basically about the only thing that really happened.
Yeah. Well, one thing that didn't happen, even though I think it was PW Insider was saying that it might, was Charlotte showing up on SmackDown tonight.
Yeah.
And worries that she could get involved in the SmackDown was title match at Mania. And thankfully she wasn't there. Hopefully she doesn't work her way into this bout. This bout needs to be Sasha versus Bianca. It's something interesting when they're going through the Mania card later in the show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read a lot into the order of the matches as they read them. But for night one, the last match they announced or listed was Sasha versus Bianca. So I'm holding out hope that will actually main event.
Oh, absolutely. I would absolutely love it. I didn't pay that much attention to it other than the fact that I was like, man, this damn promo is continuing and going on and going on.
A lot of cannon explosions, man.
Cannon explosions and two damn ships just continuing to come at you. And after a while, I was just like, okay, you just had a promo for WrestleMania and a video package. Now you're going to just roll that. I was extremely put off by the whole presentation of SmackDown.
There's a lot of recaps.
It was a lot of recaps
lot
and
of
recaps of the prior segment.
Mhm.
And this was one thing I was and you know, I'm very glad that you actually said that the order of it, you don't want to put much into it, but the fact that it was sort of, if they do it the way that it would be in order, that match would main event night one, which I think it probably should.
Mhm.
And then Edge, you know, 10 years to the day he's in the main event match. That is poetic. That makes sense. I'm not saying that he's going to win it, but that's good synergy, if you will. But yeah, I would love to have a women's main event for one of these nights, and hopefully it will be that one.
Hope so too. Let's dive on into it. So
Let's get
show
on in
opened
it.
with 20-minute recap of what happened at Fastlane.
And
then Daniel Bryan comes out for a promo. He's got a chair with him, and he says, essentially, everyone saw the truth. Everyone saw that I made Roman tap out. I made him do the one thing he said he would never do, that he's never done.
Yep.
He said, in fact, Roman said last week he'd rather die than tap out to someone like Daniel Bryan. Hey, everybody, good news. Roman Reigns is alive, and he tapped out to me. And he says, in a perfect world, that would mean I would be the Universal Champion. I would be hitting the main event of WrestleMania, but neither of those things are true, because as he was making Reigns tap, Edge hit him across the back with a chair, just like this one. He says Edge has been saying that Bryan has been doing this the right way. But here's the thing. He's had enough of doing things the right way. He's tired of doing things the right way, standing on the sideline, having a dream and allowing other people to have a dream match they didn't earn. He earned his title match. He earned being in the main event of WrestleMania, and he didn't get it. But he's not looking for a handout. He's willing to earn it again. He says, I'm not asking for a spot in the Mania main event. I'm not asking to be handed the title. I want a rematch against Roman Reigns for the Universal title tonight, and I am not leaving this ring till I get what I want. And so he takes a seat in the middle of the ring. Give me what I want. And he waits, and he waits, and he waits, and goes to commercial. This is a throwback, if you will, to when he eventually got his match against Triple H at WrestleMania. Granted, it was on a lot grander scale.
Yeah.
You know, they did the sit-in thing with him and like
fans
100 other people.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, you know, it's hard not to, easy to think that, yes, this is a reference to that potentially. So go to commercial. We come back. Daniel Bryan's still sitting there. And then Adam Pearce walks out. Do you want to take on the role of Adam Pearce, Enforcer?
We know one thing I did want to say that honestly, Daniel Bryan reminded me of Macho Man when he did that sit-in back on a Nitro in '98 or whatever, where like Disco Inferno would come out. I was hoping people would come out, like, you know, the loser locker room would come out and go, what are you doing? You're taking up our space. And then he would just, you know, hit him with a few moves and then come back and sit down. You know, I was really hoping something like that would go on. But you said Adam Pearce. Okay. So Adam Pearce rolls his ass out there and he goes, Daniel Bryan, I can't give you a rematch. The ref's decision is final. But then Daniel Bryan talks about the double standard. He says, hey, why not on night one, Edge versus Roman Reigns? And then on night two, you have the winner of that one fight me. Sounds reasonable. But then Edge, then you hear Edge's music come out and he slaps the fucking microphone out of Adam Pearce's hand.
He does that, walks to the ring. What's the first thing he does when he gets to the ring?
Grabs a mic. Why the fuck didn't he just grab that with some effort, stomps down there and then starts his promo? Like, it's like, once again, was that another reason? Like, we don't have a lot of meat on this bone. Stretch. Give us 15 seconds.
Maybe slapping that mic out of his hand. That's enough to buy a little bit more time. So Edge gets down there and says, I've sat in the back for the last month or so listening to Daniel Bryan talk about this main event being his last. And he says, well, every match could be my last match. He says, night two, I'm happy Edge brought this up. Night two is 10 years the day where I had to give up the title I never lost. He says, I came in first at the Rumble, beat everyone, including you, Daniel Bryan. Well, Daniel Bryan has lost twice to Roman Reigns. He says, you don't deserve the Mania spot. He says, you don't deserve it, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And Daniel Bryan takes him down with the double leg takedown. Edge gets up, hits him with a spear, picks up a chair, hits Daniel Bryan with it. At first, he was kind of shocked that he did it because he drops the chair and kind of pushes the hair off his face, rolls out of the ring, and then looks back at the damage he has just caused, and then kind of smirks and then kind of shakes out of it.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get trance Edge through all this.
Maybe that just like a trance Bushi, right?
Yeah. Oh
just
man,
gonna get slapped all day.
Did you see Shingo Takagi versus Will Ospreay at the New Japan Cup final?
I did not.
We get trance Takagi, and it's amazing.
Oh, I gotta check that one out. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a really good match.
Once
the match ends, stop watching because everything after the match kind of is.
Yeah.
But the match
is
great.
What I could do is I could get a hold of Rob and say, hey, that match that Larson told me I should watch, can we fire that up? And then we'll see what we got. Then after that we go to backstage, and Roman in his lush and plush chair. That is looking like a beautiful chair. That's the chair I'd want to be sitting in if I'm backstage. So he goes like Roman says, get me Adam Pearce, and then up goes Paul Heyman to go get him and says, Jay, you go with him. And then it's like, well, use force if you have to. And it's like, what are they going to do, fire us? Then they go off to commercial, and then you had Seth come out for his match, and then we get another recap from what happened the week before.
Two recaps. We get that last week, and then I think we get to recap what happened a couple weeks prior to that. The first time Cesaro. So it was first time Cesaro swung him, and then they did a recap of Cesaro swinging Buddy. Yeah. That set Seth off, and he went in and stomped Cesaro when he wore the turtleneck.
This is how much time they had to kill. They were able in a recap to go back and count the swings, give you a counter. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the production that these guys are doing. You want to recap for, I'm sorry, even though it's got Seth and the way that they position Shinsuke and Cesaro, you cannot say that this is a main event match here. And what they decided to do, instead of give you beats and give you stuff that actually made sense, no, they put a counter on there to tell you how many times Cesaro has swung Seth around. That's the sort of stuff that they're trying to do.
They've been saying for 3 weeks that he's spun him around 20 times.
Yeah.
They've been saying that. I think Seth has said it in a promo the week after.
Man.
So anyways, this rematch happened between Seth and Nakamura for some reason. I don't know why. Outcome was the same. Seth Rollins gets the W after a stomp. It was still a fun match because Nakamura and Seth are great workers. But so afterwards, as soon as the bell rings after Seth gets his win, he starts beating up Nakamura, looking for another stomp. Cesaro runs down, makes a save, hits a bunch of moves. Is looking to put him in the swing again. Seth escapes. He runs out of the ring. So there's gonna be another segment coming up later on that is much more effective.
Yes.
Seth, this interview segment was wildly entertaining, and you get what you really want.
Yeah.
Which is Seth saying something and then immediately eating his words. And you could have bypassed this whole match. It was unnecessary. It was a rematch, something we just saw a few days ago. I mean, honestly, I'll see Seth and Nakamura wrestle all the time, but I'd much rather watch him wrestle with some stakes involved, something on the line, some meat to the story. And just really, it's kind of a bummer that Nakamura is being used as fodder for a story between Seth and Cesaro.
Former NXT champion Shinsuke Nakamura is being used as basically filler to get to position Cesaro as the face against Seth Rollins. That is the kind of level of disrespect that is shown to Shinsuke. He can't even get. Like, I'll say this though, Larson. Like I was texting Steve while this was going on. I think this is the one part that he watched, and I said, "Man, if this is the time where they give what I thought was going to happen at Fastlane, which was going to be Cesaro interference, Nakamura roll up for the win, I was going to be pissed. I'm kind of glad that Seth did win it, but it was a match that had no consequence. Like you said, it was of no importance other than to set up a backstage interview. I don't know what's going on with this, but the pacing of these shows, when SmackDown used to have excellent pacing, every beat led into something different that grew your story. And it seems like they know where they want to get to the end. They know where they want to get to WrestleMania, and they have no clue how to give you any proper build
Yeah.
to that match on night
Yeah.
1 or night 2.
Yeah, that's a fair point because we're getting Mania, but it doesn't necessarily feel like WrestleMania season in terms of the excitement level. Outside of maybe a couple of matches, and a lot of that's just you tell good stories, you get people hyped up for the matches. You tell mediocre stories, and people are like, okay, these matches are cool, but their investment level might not be as high as what you'd like it to be. After that, we get Heyman and Roman backstage. Jay walks in with Adam Pearce. Heyman tells Pearce, hey, you're out there pressured to make a bad decision, which you didn't make. And then Roman stands up, gets right in Pearce's face. And he says, hey, don't thank him. You should be thanking us. The reason you're here is that for Mania, you get Roman for one night. For one title defense. Now you can thank us. Yep. Pearce says, all right, you have a point. I almost agree with it, but there are other points that I need to consider. I'll have a decision for you by the end of the night.
He said that a few times. He said that to Edge later on. He said that to Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. You have my decision at the end of the night. But we kind of already knew. I mean, the writing was on the wall for what
you got
this
that
was.
Right. You got Absolutely. That right.
And then we get ourselves a 6-man tag team match: Big E and the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy and Apollo Crews.
Yeah, before that match kicked off, do you want to talk about the Seth Rollins bit?
Well, this is what I want to
introductions.
In between introductions, you had the faces come in commercial, and then you had Seth. He was pissed off at Cesaro. It was great. And then basically the extent of it, I don't know if you want to go beat by beat with it, because I'll be honest with you. I heard him going off, and I knew where he was going to go. I didn't put beat by beat notes. I don't know if you have them.
Oh, this is pretty much Cesaro tried to swing me again. I'm not surprised. I'm sick of being embarrassed by that failure. I told Cesaro that if he stepped in my lane again, bad things are going to happen. Challenges Cesaro to a match at Mania. He says, I'll teach you a lesson about respect there. And then I'll never be swung by Cesaro again. Sure enough, Cesaro runs in, lays him out, rams him to a road case, and then starts swinging him. And then refs come try to break it up. He drops Seth and says, challenge accepted.
Yeah, I would have actually loved if Seth, the whole time as that was going on, was continuing to run down Cesaro. It's like, you're never going to swing. No, after this, you're not going to. Every time he comes by the camera, he's just blah, blah, blah.
You're still a failure, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're still a failure. You can't beat me, something like that. Absolutely. Yeah. And then, we had that 6-man tag match. I honestly, I'm no joke. I really thought when I saw Street Profits coming out, we were going to get Apollo and Ziggler and Rude, because I figured you were going to try and position your mid-card singles belt and your tag teams to possibly build to that. But then when they brought out Chad and Gable, I was like, okay, I kind of know what's going to happen. It's just going to be a big schmoz, and then Apollo's going to get that one pin on Big E. But
before he's the loss at WrestleMania,
yeah, exactly. But if you want to touch on what you saw, that was almost pretty bad.
There was two pretty crazy spots. One in terms of creativity, the other one is in terms of just a bad landing. So early on, Montez goes for like a sunset flip on Gable, and Gable grabs him off the rope and hits a Northern Light suplex. And that was pretty awesome. And later on, Gable and Otis hit their lariat German suplex combo on Dawkins, and Dawkins took a rough landing. It was all on the back of the neck and the upper shoulders. That was rough.
It was rough. Yeah, it looked like that. Really, really bad.
So in the process of all that happening, Cruz tags himself in. While that's all happening, Ford takes out Otis and Gable ringside with a tope, and then Cruz hits Big E with Olympic Slam to get the win. He'll get that W. Maybe he'll attack Big E a few times before Mania, but it seemed pretty clear that Big E is walking out of WrestleMania with that Intercontinental title.
And since Otis, and this is an extreme inside joke here, since Otis was part of the winning team, Otis is still Dom's father. You're welcome, Alex. See, I shoehorned it in. Then after that, we get to a part where Edge is backstage. Adam Pearce is there once again, running him down, saying, he's lost. He beat him twice. Roman's beat him twice. He's got no business being in this match once again. And he's got his hair. His hair is getting wetter as the evening is going on as well. And basically, once again, Adam Pearce goes ahead and says, "You'll have my decision at the end of the night." Great points, all of that. So
being very diplomatic about everything.
Yeah. And then we get to the KO show, and I'm sure that this is probably the only other progression of beats here. I didn't take much other because there wasn't much being said of that. I felt
there was a lot of words with the entire idea of this is Kevin Owens introduces the show and he says, "Hey, I've been trying to make it clear to Sammy that I'm not into the conspiracies that you're pitching, but I got your back. And what does it get me? I got kicked in the head. So I got a question for you. And there's only one person to answer this question, to Sammy. So get on out." So Sammy walks down. He's like, "Hey, I know what you want to say. You want me to apologize? Done. I'm sorry. There's all this conspiracy stuff. It's gotten to my head. I'm sorry." And Kevin says, "No, I want to ask you something else." Sammy interrupts. He says, "Oh, I know what you want to ask. If you could still be part of my documentary." The answer is yes. And that's when he talks about he's got a bombshell he's going to drop here. Next week, there's a red carpet premiere for the trailer of his documentary. It's going to be huge because Logan Paul is going to be at the premiere. Sammy's like, he's super into it. It's going to get a lot of eyeballs on it. He's going to make it huge. Then everyone will see. And Kevin Owens, you can still be a part of it. And Kevin Owens says, "I don't care about your documentary. I don't care about Logan Paul. I don't care about whether you're sorry about last week." Sammy interrupts again. Says Owens owes him an apology because he's acting like he's on his side, but he's not. And Owens just says, "Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth." He just says, "Shut your mouth." But he says, "The only reason you're allowed, I'm allowing you to stand in my ring without beating you senseless is because I want you to answer this question."
Yeah.
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, 1-on-1 at WrestleMania, yes or no?
Yep.
And Sammy's like, "Well, hold on. We need to work together."
Yep.
What are you talking about? And Owens is just like, "Yes or no?"
Yes or no. Yeah.
Calm but firm.
Yeah.
He's backing Sammy up against the easel with the Kevin Owens sign on it, like into the corner. And
backed him into a corner.
Doing this, and Kevin's backing him down, and Sammy says, "Fine, yes."
Yeah.
"Are you happy now?" And Owens says, "Yes, I am happy. But now that I have my answer, I said I was gonna. The only reason you're standing here is because I'm waiting for you to answer the question. Now I can beat you senseless." He proceeds to do that.
Yep.
Hits him with the stunner.
Hits him with that stunner. Away it goes, and then that was it. And this is one part. Then we get to, it's again a lot of backstage with people going to old scrap iron. And basically telling them why their opinion is correct. But this was the one that I really liked because Daniel Bryan used to hold that position of power, much like Adam Pearce did. And he said, "Hey, man, I know. I used to be SmackDown GM. They want the status quo. They want Edge and Roman Reigns wants to fight. But it's like, I know you'll make the right decision." Very calmly, very matter-of-factly, giving you the basic facts of the matter. I tapped out Roman.
Wasn't threatening me.
Exactly. It's just coming from that understanding position. That of all of the promos that everyone had with Adam Pearce resonated the most for me because once again, it was you saw, referee's decision is final. I get that. Okay. You saw he tapped. He said he wasn't going to tap. He did tap. Edge is greedy. He doesn't want to have that extra person there. He thinks he doesn't deserve it. But I know you're going to do the right thing because I know how you feel. You're being pulled in all these different directions. You're going to do the right thing. And I absolutely love that segment.
That's the power of Daniel Bryan too, man. Is ever since they injected him into this feud, it's breathed life into it. And now it feels personal. There's heat. There wasn't a whole lot of that before he was brought into it. After that, we get a Bianca Belair interview right before her match against Natalya. She's asked about the slap from Sasha at Fastlane. She said Twitter had a field day. Said she could have retaliated, but I'm stronger. And then if I'd retaliated, then Sasha wouldn't have made it to Mania. And I think she said it was her grandma told her that you always need to handle your business. And Bianca says beating Sasha at Mania is handling my business. But right now, I got some unfinished business with Natalya, and she tells Kayla, hey, Everybody watching better keep the kids out of the room because they shouldn't see what she's about to do to Natalya, which is a good line.
Yeah. And she came out there looking great too. That silver and black outfit there looked good. Did lose an eyelash in the process of the match again. So hopefully we could get some something worked out there. But I appreciated the fact that they're giving Natalya with Tamina out there some shine, and this is kind of what I think Natalya is here. In UFC, there's a thing called the gatekeepers. Anytime there's any new hot shoe, you can pass through the gatekeeper of a Natalya, then that basically means that you've been, it's a win, but it's a win against a good hand, if you will, and also sets up the a match. Sasha comes out in the middle of this thing. She goes and does commentary and basically establishes herself as the heel in this fight then and there. And I'm just reminded of all the times that Corey Graves over the years would run down Sasha when she was a face, and now he is saying, you're making a good point there, Sasha. You're making a good point. And then it's right there. I'm like, okay, WWE logic. You're the heel now. Okay, fair enough.
That was pretty firmly established because Sasha was talking trash the whole time on commentary. The whole time. So towards the end, Bianca kicks Natalya while she's trying to put on a sharpshooter. They do this spot where they run towards each other and like grab each other's head and rams it to the mat. So Bianca rolls out of the ring and Sasha's like, rookie move. Look at this rookie. And so she leaves commentary, starts talking crap to Bianca right there. Bianca gets up and slaps the heck out of her.
Yeah.
Gets back in the ring, hits Natalya with the KOD for the win. And then Sasha's in there immediately, hits Bianca with a backstabber.
Yep. And that's it. And then, it points a sign. I'm bad.
Speaking of solidifying heel turns, we definitely got that here. So we get Roman, Jay, and Paul backstage. Edge walks in.
Yep.
And then Jay stands up.
Jay bowls up, man. Ready to go, man.
Ready to fight. And Roman says to him, it takes a lot of balls to come in. I almost respect it. But if you don't get to your point soon, I'm going to let my pit bull off his leash. And Edge just says, how well that worked for him last week.
Did you notice like how when Jay sat back down, how Paul Heyman sort of caressed his shoulder and his chest to just sort of like, soothe Jay a bit? Yeah. And I was just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, Jay's a bit of a hothead these days.
Yeah, he is. And then that's when you got the part where Edge tells Roman that Daniel Bryan's trying to steal our spotlight. He's trying to shoehorn himself into our main event, so sort of like trying to, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. This guy's trying to shoehorn in to our angle here. You got to be with me because you have to fight me regardless. Do you want to fight this other guy? Basically, he says with him being in there, I could pin Daniel Bryan and take your belt. So do you really want that?
Then they spent about 5 minutes running down the WrestleMania card. Let's do it real quick. Let's see if we can get this in 30 seconds. Night 1, Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman versus Shane, New Day versus AJ and Amos, Bad Bunny versus The Miz, Lashley versus McIntyre, and Sasha versus Bianca. Night 2, Big E versus Apollo Crews, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, Randall Keith Orton versus The Fiend, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, Roman versus Edge. But that is soon to change because then we have, Dolph versus Rey Mysterio. There's a couple fun there's a couple fun bits. The power bomb that Dolph does on Rey. So Rey goes for a Rana off the apron after hitting a Hurricane Rana, sending Dolph out of the ring. Dolph catches the Rana off the apron and then dumps powerbomb style Rey over the barricade. And Dom goes and checks on Dad, and Dolph super kicks him in the head.
He eats one, yeah. And the whole time you see Rue in the background all happy. He's like, yeah, all right, look at what you did.
I know.
In my notes, I basically wrote that Rey gets thrown into another universe because you don't see him land. Almost like with the Money in the Bank where he got thrown off of the roof, but he just landed on the crash pad down there and he was fine. So, And I will say this, like in the middle point of this match, I checked my YouTube because Rob Zerver made a video. I checked that real quick. I wrote that at some point there looked to be a botched zigzag, so I called it a zag-zig, and he got it for 2. Then there was a 619, and then he sort of did the spring splash onto Dolph 1, 2, 3. We got ourselves the win there.
The zigzag was a little clunky, but I thought it was a clever spot.
Yeah,
it was a clever spot, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
cool.
and then the fact that it was sort of like didn't catch all of this one, and then he kicked out of it. So so you can sort of massage the fact that he kicked out of his finisher, though the zigzag isn't really all that protected anymore.
Not anymore. I think
so,
he uses the super kick more to try to win matches than.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's kind of one or the other.
And then we get our main event. Who doesn't love this main event, right? Adam Pearce saunters his ass on out here. He saunters out there, and then Roman comes out there. But then while that's going on, while Roman's coming out, we get a Hall of Fame induction fucking recap. For fuck's sakes, man.
Yeah, great colleague, Kane. Congratulations.
Yeah, good job, guys. It's great. stretch.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we get Edge then comes out again. And then Daniel Bryan comes out again, and I'm looking at the thing. There's 5 minutes left in the show. 12 minutes were left in the show when Adam Pearce came out. Yeah. Then Roman came out. Hall of Fame recap.
There was a commercial break too, wasn't it?
There was a commercial break.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man. And then Adam Pearce says, it's been one of these nights. And I said, no shit, it's been one of these nights.
I'm feeling you right now, Adam Pearce.
Yeah. Basically, he says, the two of you, Edge and Roman, you guys make sense. But Daniel Bryan makes sense too. It's like, the hypocrisy of what's going on here has led me to this decision. At WrestleMania, we have a triple threat match. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. And then Roman's kind of standing there looking pissed. Then what happens? The other two combatants decide to throw hands.
Yep.
And then we get to then there's a Superman punch to Daniel Bryan from Roman. Then spear from Edge. Edge works the chair. Edge is chairing it up. He puts their heads onto the chairs, looks for the third chair on the outside, rolls on in here. WWE officials come in. He's whacking them. Jay rolls in. He's whacking them. And then Edge decides to sit down the way that Daniel Bryan wanted to start the show.
Yep.
He's going to sit down there. You see the WrestleMania sign in the background. On this day.
Yeah, he's like,
and then away we go.
Upset.
Yeah, so he's looking so upset, man.
Yeah,
so,
the tease of concertos is, if there was any doubt after the backstage bit with Roman.
Of course.
If he's dropping concertos on people, he's probably a bad guy now.
Yeah. He's a bad dude.
Probably a bad dude. So that was Smackdown.
That was Smackdown.
The through line of stuff with Daniel Bryan and Edge and Roman Reigns was all pretty solid, and the way they're setting this up, where it hasn't been spoken yet, but I'm sure. I'd be surprised if it wasn't mentioned at some point. Which this goes back to 7 years ago, roughly the same situation.
Yeah,
that saw Daniel Bryan win the title at WrestleMania, the main event.
I mean, at least
it has to be in the back of Roman and Edge's mind, going into this whole thing. It's one reason, among others, they probably don't want him anywhere near this match.
That's very true. That makes all the sense in the world why originally these two wanted to have nothing to do with him, because with him being in there, you have a possibility of Daniel Bryan winning one of these things. As much as you always say Edge does neat things, Daniel Bryan has done some pretty neat things as well.
You got that right. Right.
Yeah.
Would you like to answer some questions, Enforcer?
Oh, absolutely. I will grab
you drink
some water just everywhere, just all up on here, and then I'm all fuzzed out here. And of course, I'm going to go onto the Patreon, and for $1 a month, you can become a patron, and you can go on and leave questions for all of the recap shows that Steve and Larson, and sometimes when the enforcer has to sit here because Steve is milling about in the back. So you can leave a question there. We try to get to as many of those as we can, but $1 a month. There are other tiers. $5 gets you Friendo Club TV. Today there was Grand Theft Auto, fun to be had with the Friendo Club. You have Ask Steven Larson, award-winning Ask Steven Larson. You have power rankings as well. And guess you don't have 10 for the wins currently, but something else will be happening as well with it.
We're going to start doing the movie club thing at some point. We're going to, once our kind of look over a schedule once a month, we'll do
absolutely
day to be determined. We'll do a movie club where we'll sit and watch a movie with Friendo Club TV members. That's the plan.
Yeah. Of course. So all of that with your Patreon, your channel member. If you've gotten gifted subs, turn on notifications. Plenty of extra bonus content from Steve and Larson. All throughout the week.
You do a much better job of selling all that than Steve and I ever do. I'll tell you what.
Here's one thing I will tell you. If it was my own channel, you see me when I do my stuff, I really feel kind of be sort of like, hey guys, by the way, I have a YouTube channel, I have this other thing, but you guys will say, hey, put it out there, say whatever. And I sort of feel the other way. You don't want to sort of, toot your own horn with all the stuff you do. So you got to let the other guy here that doesn't do it all that often really blast people over the head with all this content that you guys can get here. $5 a month gets you endless content from Steve, from Larson. You get me every once in a while.
Man, I don't get you enough.
Some people will think differently of that. So of course, everybody, thank you so much. Yes, I'm hopping on the Patreon here.
Cool, thank you.
Larson, if you want to get up on the,
I'm here. I'm on the Twitch right now, man.
All right.
Ryan Hoover's got a question. Statement. I'm excited for the new wrestling schedule and the end of the Wednesday Night Wars. It's going to be interesting getting these Impact streams going on Thursday now.
Okay.
How about you, Enforcer? Are you excited for Thursday night Impact as opposed to Tuesday?
I will say this, that it was always nice to have the Tuesday night because you got the sour taste of the 3-hour marathon of Raw and you knew that this was fun. So now instead now it's going to be, you're going to have your Raw, you're going to have that late night of having to put everything together, and then you have NXT, which Steve's going to love. Then AEW is going to get its own shine, but I will miss having, because I watch both shows at the same time on a Wednesday. I will miss having that old flavor of the Monday Night Wars kind of feel where you're channel surfing back and forth trying to find that. I'm going to miss that, but Impact any night of the week, as long as it works for us and it works for the Friendos, I'm happy to do it because it just feels like a time to connect with the Friendos.
You got that right, man.
And have some wrestling. And I know there's some people that say that we run our gums a bit too much and all that good stuff. But hey, if you don't like what we got going on, there's some wrestling over here that you can go on and do. And we can kind of stay quiet for the big beats, But come on, join us. It's fun. I just feel bad for you guys where every night of the week there is wrestling that has to be covered.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with doing NXT the following day because if it was 5 nights a week, working every night, the grind of that would get a bit rough. Not just on ourselves, but in terms of how it affects our family,
everyone else around you. Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll give ourselves our Tuesday nights because it's good for us.
It's good for the old soul to not feel like you're tied to having to do it every night.
Exactly. We don't want to get burned out.
All right. So I've got Wolfpack for life. It's like, this is the first time a celebrity has really made me turn off the TV or change the channel in Logan Paul, mainly because of the awful things that he has done. Is there a celebrity you would refuse to watch in WWE?
I mean, I'm in a position where this is my job, so I kind of have to watch.
Yeah.
But there is a certain WWE Hall of Famer that used to be the president that if I found out he was going to be in WWE programming, I would I would, gosh,
Yeah.
that would be nigh
Yeah.
impossible for me to sit through.
Yeah.
That might be a situation where, at least for that segment, I would have to walk away.
Yeah.
I can't stand him. I couldn't stand him before he's present. I could stand him even less now.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him on my TV, and I certainly don't want to see him in my wrestling, and I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I agree with you with that one. I would also say anytime they do Legends Night, I know that they have to pop a rating, but if it's just to shoehorn people into backstage interviews, I don't understand why you have to do it. And for me to have to go, why are you doing this? Much like, all right, Ding MQ, Hulk Hogan. Okay. I'm not excited to see him host WrestleMania. I am watching WrestleMania despite the fact that he is the host of WrestleMania. And I really hope, I doubt it, maybe Titus may say something to put him into an awkward spot. I would like to see it, but I highly doubt it, especially the way that Vince came down on him just for grabbing his arm on some bullshit years ago. So so I would say that 45 and Hogan are probably the two.
Yeah. Hamish, could this be also that Edge can't go a full 40 minute match live in front of people, as that match with Randy was pre-filmed at Backlash? I mean, I guess it's a possibility. I mean, we know Daniel Bryan can go that long. Roman Reigns can go that long.
Yeah.
I think it's more just to get themselves out of a bind as far as who's going to take the L. I think that's primarily it. And Daniel Bryan has injected a ton of life into the story that just wasn't there.
There was a lot of steam that Roman brought when he first came back that I feel kind of fizzled out at the wrong time when you really want it to ramp up. And I'm really glad that Daniel Bryan is in this match, because the spots that the three of them can do now is astronomical. I think they could do a lot more. And also the fact that it's a triple threat means that it's no DQ. Means that you can bring in a lot. You can bring in a lot more to make it a main event, Mania pay-per-view, with somebody who has been on the shelf for a lot of years, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. But yeah, the first time that all of them are working in a live arena. And also you got to think, how humid will it be at Tampa as well? Is that going to gas them out? It's not like AEW at Daly's place this whole time. They have been having to work in the humidity, in the elements. They've been in a controlled environment for over a year now. Possibly this is sort of a safety measure as well, just to have someone else out there as well.
Entirely possible.
Could be. Yeah, absolutely. Moses Supposes, at this point, which match are you most looking forward to during WrestleMania week?
Oh, week. Wow.
Yeah, week. Okay.
Wow, that's a lot.
You know what? I will say this: the North American
the Gauntlet
match.
Eliminator?
Yeah, the Gauntlet Eliminator match. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Absolutely.
With gauntlet matches.
Yeah. Of course, it's no beat the clock challenge.
Of course not. Well, why didn't they do that? 6-person beat the clock challenge.
Yeah, I would say that one. Io and Raquel Gonzalez. Yeah, that one's going to be awesome. Yeah, honestly, looking forward to Asuka and Rhea Ripley as well. Kind of want to see how the Stupid Express and McMahon is going to go. Just out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah,
that's what I kind of want to see.
Oh, yeah. Are they going to try to drag that one out?
Yeah,
in the
for 2 nights. Would that be 2? Could you imagine? He calls him Stupid Night 1. The match doesn't happen, and then they have to have it for night 2.
Oh my gosh! I mean, Steve,
you heard it here first, guys.
Oh gosh! I'll say Sasha and Bianca, and I can't wait to see what Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn do on the stage of WrestleMania. I think that's going to be top-notch stuff.
You know what? Honestly, Seth and Cesaro.
It's gonna be good too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's a lot of good matches on the card. Just hopefully they get time and the stories to deliver.
Right.
Speaking of Cesaro and Seth, quote the
Okay.
Raven, how many spins will Cesaro put on Seth at WrestleMania? Quote the Raven says 100 times.
I will say the amount for this WrestleMania 36, 37, something like that.
37. That is a great answer.
37. That's how many times it's going to be.
Great answer.
That's what it's going to. And also, I know that we are in the sort of our wind down period, but we don't have Steve here working this one. Kane's Tools. There was a power chat that they came up there with, top $2, and they said about this exact topic. Michael Cole said that Cesaro broke a record swinging him over 20 times, and he thinks that Cesaro actually in another match did one over 30. So they wanted to point that out. So thank you so much for that power chat. Kane Tools, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
While we're on that note, we got a couple subs here too from G-Fi Man and the Colossal. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I got one here from David Mostanik. Sorry if I butchered your name. My apologies. I'm not the best with that. It said, did Edge's face at the end of the night of tonight's SmackDown make you feel intimidated or creeped out? I thought that was a man that was over the bullshit. He didn't get what he wanted. He wanted Roman. He didn't want to have that variable of Daniel Bryan. Immediately, you saw Roman got pissed. Look at Adam Pearce, but Edge went right for Daniel Bryan. Yeah. So you could tell like that's where his anger was channeled was to that. Him sitting in that chair was almost like, look at the angry version of what can happen if somebody sits in this chair, as opposed to Daniel Bryan, who was just sort of sitting there waiting for something to happen, and then Adam Pearce walked himself out.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Vegan Squirrel gifted 5 subs. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vegan Squirrel. Thank you to Ace Conduce, Tex One Can, Hamels Hilal, Arcanios, MK, Cammy. Thank you so much. Enjoy your gifted subs. Hopefully you stick around.
Thank you so much. Night by night, we're going back to this mysterious hole. So Cameron Grimes arrives at this mysterious hole with a hired team of spelunkers. Unfortunately, since you told him there was money in the hole, he ignores the spelunkers' warnings, yells to the moon, and dives in head first. Their source of payment now gone. The spelunkers leave you behind with only the guilt of losing 3 people in the span of just a few days. What SmackDown superstar do you call to vent to? Who do you call to vent to? Who's a shoulder to cry on?
Who's the sympathetic ear that will feel?
Oh, Daniel Bryan. It's Daniel Bryan.
I would think so. Daniel Bryan. I'm trying to think of someone else because that's sort of like you know what? I would spill my guts out to Otis because he'd probably make me a steak.
There you go.
Have that,
what a great answer.
Yeah, he would just be like, oh no, well, how about we get ourselves a meal? Oh yeah, and then be like, you know what? You know what, round man? You're right. Let's go get ourselves a steak. Absolutely. Dusty Leonard, do you think that WWE should have stuck with the scenario where Daniel Bryan faces the winner of Edge and Roman on night 2, or would y'all prefer to have a triple threat match? I will be honest with you, Larson. I was kind of hoping that would be the scenario to go in, but not quite what they were hoping for. I was hoping that Daniel Bryan would have to wrestle either Edge or Roman, and then the winner would have fought the other person. I didn't like the fact that Daniel Bryan was going to sit there while the other two fought, much like how they've done for New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom. Where how that goes. So I kind of liked. I
did like that though, because Daniel Bryan, I'm sure, being aware of the strategic advantage. Be the fresh man night 2. Yeah. Of course, you're gonna put yourself in that scenario, you know.
Of course, yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, you're gonna do that. But yeah, I did like how they even alluded to the fact that you're no stranger to having to fight to get
Twice
into
in
a
the same
spot
day.
twice
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the same night, which basically, I mean, that's what he had to do against Triple H at 30, and then to get put into the Orton and Batista match at the end. Which, by the way, if you guys logged on to that Peacock, and you think of Peacock however you will, or if you still have the network and you haven't watched Triple H versus Daniel Bryan in WrestleMania 30. Great match. You guys should give that baby a look. Look at the crowd. Never seen a crowd that damn jacked up.
Yeah, it's been a
for
number of years
what
since
was
I've
going
seen
on.
that. Probably since Stone Cold was at his peak.
Yeah.
Scooter's got a hockey question for you.
Okay.
What do you think of the Fox Sports regional networks becoming Bally Sports at the end of March? Also, will your enjoyment of watching hockey games on those channels, if possible, be affected by who owns it? Is Fox Sports regional networks an outlet for you to watch hockey?
I used to have it when I was really into a lot of different sports, but I have the NHL Center Ice package, which I can stream, and I only get NHL games, and they are basically the regional channels. The fact that Fox Sports got bought by Sinclair and then they roped in Bally's as a title sponsor for the channels really doesn't affect me any. I know that sports betting is big and it's being opened up into a lot of different states. That's just the way that it's going to be. Just like DraftKings, just like FanDuel, Bally's Sportsbook is trying to get their foot into the door of regional sports. I would say this is just a byproduct of the Disney purchase of a lot of Fox brands, and then they didn't have anything to do with it. They weren't going to rope it into ESPN, so they went ahead and sold it to Sinclair, and this is what you're left with. They have to recoup some money. Might as well slap a sponsor on it.
Sure, why not?
Yep. Sure, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. There were not that many questions here, but I know that there was one more. There was one more here.
Yeah.
Fat bastard champ Alex Foster. If you were trying to get into a title match, what would you do to get in? I would have a bake sale. But seriously, I love how the Universal Championship is pretty much turning everyone crazy fighting for it. What would you do to get into a title match? Would you be like Daniel Bryan, give the facts, basically, go through like the system, if you will, with making good points? Would you beat someone up for it? What exactly would you try and do to shoehorn yourself into a title match?
I would say competitors of this match. I have a pro wrestling podcast. It's called Going in Raw.
Okay.
Would you like to be on our show? We'd be great to promote your brands. Roman, Edge, come on our show, promote yourself, promote this match, and they'll be on our show, and they'll see, wow, look at the checks we got from WWE Shop. We just sold 3 times more merch we ever had because we were on your show.
Wow.
Thanks, Larson. If there's anything we can ever do for you in the future, let us know.
Right. Matter of fact.
Interesting you mentioned that, gentlemen. What say you this? Plot me in this title match. You think you made huge bucks being on our podcast? Imagine what we could do if I get in the wrestling ring. People want to see Larson get beat up.
There you go. Both of you guys are positioned so strong. You need somebody to stare at the lights for 3 seconds. Come on.
I will happily
Neither one
take
of
a
you
pin.
do it. Yeah. Exactly. Listen, problem solved. No problem at all.
Exactly. How about you, Enforcer? What would your pitch be?
I would go like, all right, guys, look here. Are you guys tired of beating the shit out of each other? Would you like to have a new fresh face to be beat up, to work with, to bounce ideas off of, to possibly make you look good? And I will make you look good. I'll sell for you, brother. No scenario where no ego here, baby. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And like Larson said, I can also sort of pull some strings for this Going in Raw podcast and get you guys on there for a Talk is Larson. You don't have to have this other guy who isn't here. I mean, look at his empty damn chair over here. He's not going to hear this. He's not going to recap this. Look at this. You could have Talk is Larson here, and you can just get all of this stuff going on. You can rehash this match just like the day after when you had Jericho and Omega fight. You could beat by beat. Yeah. We don't care.
That was a great podcast too.
There you go.
Great idea.
That's what I would do there. That's
great. That's great. I like all that.
You go. And Steve can do exactly what he's doing right now.
Exactly. Combat Films Hunter says if WrestleMania is 2 days going forward, what main event should be next year? So they've already announced next year in Dallas and the year following in LA are just gonna be 1 day events.
Okay.
So in the event though that they happen to do 2 days, they changed the line 2 days in Dallas. Roman Reigns versus Big E for the Universal title. That should be one.
Okay.
And then the other, Adam Cole versus who's someone else on Raw? That's
Damian Priest.
Good, Damian Priest. Good.
Damian Priest.
In a ladder match with a giant donut hanging above the ring.
Oh, there you go. The brass ring or the sonic ring sitting there.
Yeah, make it a donut instead.
Make it a donut with all the sprinkle. Make it a Randy's donut if it's in LA. It's just right there.
There you go. There you
go. Let's see. Let me get because I know that Maggie's watching. Give me the 4 horsewomen for one night. Belt unification of the women's division. They can split it up later on, but for that one, you're going to have that. Okay. And then the next night you will have Braun versus Shane McMahon in a loser leaves on a stupid orphan train match.
Wow. That is a hell of a stipulation.
That main events. And then you see them chewing their ass right on out of there. That's what's going to happen.
We'll end on this one. Twitch crowd though, stick around. We'll answer some more of your questions. But Mr. Sinister, this is a great question to wrap on. I feel like asks, what are the odds that they have picked the winner for the Universal title match already, but choose a different winner during the match due to fan reaction? What are the odds of that happening? I would think pretty slim because I think all parties involved are getting into this knowing what the deal is going to be, including probably. Like WWE management might not be hyper aware of Daniel Bryan, the type of reaction he's going to get. Yeah. But at least I think Edge and Roman and Daniel Bryan all know what the deal is going to be, and they're going into this knowing what's going to happen. And Daniel Bryan, he's been saying he doesn't know how long he's going to be in this full time anymore after this. I'm sure he's totally cool eating that loss. I'd be shocked.
Of course,
shocked if something like that were to happen.
No,
shocked.
I honestly think that you know what Edge is willing to give you when he's there, and I don't think he wants to give you the time that it would take for him to be a proper world's champion. Daniel Bryan is already said he's come. There is a stop point, and he is much in line to give people the rub from him and his creativity and his ability to get shit done backstage. And he knows him having the belt may pop that crowd for one night, but at what sacrifice will it come to what they're trying to build with Roman currently? So I really think it will be, you already know what you're going to get. It's going to be a hell of a match, but I still think you have Roman coming out of there as champion. It's just whether Edge is going to eat it or Daniel Bryan. I am at 80-20 that Daniel Bryan's eating that pin.
Yeah, I kind of feel that's kind of like the primary motivation for him being in the match.
Yes.
Well, Enforcer, thank you so much for joining.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Always a pleasure. Always
Not
a pleasure
problem.
hosting the show with you, man.
All right.
Everybody else, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, Twitch crowd will stick around for a few minutes. Maybe we'll raid somebody. Who knows? Until next time, though. Goodbye.
Bye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, live power rank, vintage 10 for the wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.